Steve with ITX, and we believe in building products that move, touch, and inspire the world. And I'm here today to share with you a framework that we've created for developing successful products called the Momentum Framework. We believe that an inspired customer willing to defend and promote your brand is one of the best investments that you can make. So how do you create an inspiring experience? You've got to start with the customer experience and work backwards to the technology, not the other way around. And Steve, I hope you don't mind, I made a quick amendment to your famous 1997 quote here, because this is one of the most common things that we see in our industry is that we immediately jump in and we start solutioning, and we're figuring out the tech stack, the features. It's super easy to get in there and just want to dive right into the feature factory. But first, we really need to take a step back and think about the customer experience. So we believe that the goal of products is to build relationships with your customers. You're building products so that you're solving a challenge for those customers or end users. And while you're solving challenging problems for them, you're also building relationships. So taking ROI off the table for a second, we believe that from a customer standpoint, advocacy is the goal. And so what is advocacy? Advocacy is anyone who's willing to invest in the future of your product. Think about Apple versus Android. We've all had this conversation. Chapter 4, why Apple is better than Android. Think about the products that you defend to your friends. You've got to use this product, it's amazing. You're out there peddling your stories about this product. I told 3 stories this morning online about how great things were. And even if you're not, formally reviewing things online, when people ask you about something and you're an advocate of it, you'll go to great lengths to explain why you're an advocate of this product or service. People will forget what you said, they're gonna forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And this is one of the most interesting parts about this quote is that I've been in the industry a while. I've built a lot of things over the 13 years I've been doing this, and it's extremely rare, especially with the more technical and complicated the product is. Once you leave like the marketing and advertising realm and you start getting into building big enterprise digital systems, it's rare that you're gonna see a team sit down and say, how is this product making people feel? What story are they gonna tell? Can we influence that story? How do we want them to share our product and service? And that goes back to jumping right into the feature factory before we're taking a step back and thinking about how we're making people feel. You cannot reach advocacy where people are investing in the future of your product if they're not first loyal to you first. So loyalty is reoccurring usage over time. I've self-determined at this point that I'm not gonna look for competitors when I have to solve a challenging problem. I'm gonna use your product or service. You can't reach advocacy unless you first trust the company and the product that you're gonna use. Trust is one of the top aspects of when you're thinking about how you're making people feel that you need to consider when building great products, because trust is the currency of business. When you trust someone or a business, you will do business with them at any time, any place, anywhere. But when you don't trust a product or a service, you'll go to great lengths to research why. I just don't know Rochester, but I don't trust it. You can't really put your finger on it, but you don't trust these guys. So we need to take some time and really think through, while we're building the products, how are we gonna get people to trust us? How are we gonna get people to be loyal to us over time? And how are we gonna have them invest in the future of our product? We call this model the loyalty ladder. We believe that every rung on the ladder represents a micro transaction that a user or customer has with your brand. Every single touch point is either moving them up or down the ladder. Everybody starts below the trust threshold with an awareness of your product or service. Incrementally, they're going to move up the loyalty ladder or they're going to move down. So when we start breaking down the different thresholds, trust is the point where your customers are willing to make a significant first investment. either with their energy, their time, or they pull out their wallet and they decide, I'm gonna purchase from this company. So you have to have trust, it's the foundation. Then we move into loyalty. So when loyalty is the point where you're coming back over time, reoccurring usage, and at the top you have advocacy. What's interesting about the loyalty ladder here is that when you're at the trust threshold, you have an opportunity based on how you're brainstorming features and how you're thinking about your product to move people very quickly from trust into loyalty. One of the biggest things that can move someone from trust into loyalty is how people and companies handle service disruptions. So I trust your company, I'm using your product, something goes wrong. How you respond to me is a huge opportunity to make a big leap into loyalty. How you handle it, thinking about how your error messaging, when things go south, how are you gonna handle it? Because relationships are truly, even with your customers, are defined during the tough times. Do you have their back when things get tough? Or were you like, no, sorry, that was a horrible experience for you, and then you're gonna move them way down the loyalty ladder. I'll give you an example of advocacy gone wrong. YouTube, I'm a huge advocate of YouTube, okay? But recently, YouTube has made me feel frustrated. They've made me feel annoyed. They've made me feel harassed by their pop-ups to join their premium service. I don't know if anyone else has experienced the pop-ups with YouTube, the harassment here that is their free trial for their premium service. You know, it's interesting because they have so many different video advertisements on this platform. You would think that at one time, YouTube would show me a video of how amazing that service is. I'm the first person that would give my money to YouTube. But now, because of the lack of creativity, ingenuity, and because I'm in the business, I'm not giving YouTube 4 quarters, let alone the 15 or 20 bucks they're asking for each month, because they constantly have taken it to another realm and they're not considering how they're making people feel. And one of the things that's gonna happen, I'm gonna call it now, Rochester, is that if YouTube doesn't really start listening to how they're making people feel, they are going to end up like the MySpace of video sharing services, okay? Because someone right now, guaranteed, is going hands-on keyboard, getting ready to rival YouTube. And all the advocates that they had, because now they're just bombarding us with advertisements. Even today, when I was listening to a 5-minute video, I didn't press the skip ad. They played a 5-minute advertisement. I didn't press skip again, I was doing something. And then another 5-minute ad. That's 10 minutes of advertisements on a 5-minute video. How is that making people feel? They're annoyed. They've had enough, YouTube, okay? There's other ways to go about it. So that's one of the things with advocacy that you need to make sure of, is that when you finally have reached that level, you're not dropping people down the threshold because you're either getting a little greedy or you're not handling that experience the right way. Oh. What is the ROI of brand advocacy? Forgiveness. They're going to give you the best feedback. They're defenders of your brand. When you become an advocate of something, you're much more willing to forgive the shortcomings of a company because you're an advocate of it. They're going to defend your brand. They're going to go out there and tell people, you know what, when the times are tough, this company though, or product, they're going to clean up the mess, because people trust integrity. People trust imperfection with integrity over a perfect facade. So if you're masquerading, and that's like one of the things with marketing, right, is that they try and make every company look perfect. Nobody's perfect, especially in the digital space. We're playing a big game. Things are going to go wrong. So how you handle it, people can defend your brand based on how you handle those challenging situations. And they're a self-identified community. One of the things that we try and work with our customers on is identifying all of the advocates that they have in their space. Do you have a database of all the people that are advocating for your product or service? How do you treat your advocates? Because they will offer to be beta testers. They'll give you the most honest feedback because they're invested in your product. And that's one of the things that is challenging with the YouTube scenarios, that you would think after all of these people have complained about the pop-ups, not even the video advertisements, the pop-ups, that they would listen to people and be like, you know what, we're gonna figure it out. We apologize, we're gonna figure it out, we're gonna get a better way going, but they're not. So people are not gonna defend YouTube anymore, and that's what's starting to happen. So we take a look at how we can measure the success of a product. We have behavioral KPIs, which is, we like to measure trust, loyalty, and advocacy. And then we have the business KPIs, which is ROI. We know that the business needs to make a profit, no doubt. Employees need to get paid, the company needs to make, return on investment. But the challenge with having ROI as the goal is that your employees are not motivated by this. When's the last time you jumped out of bed and said, I can't wait to make my corporate overlords a profit today? You're not. So we better think about what are the other ways that we can motivate our employees, especially when you have a team of people who are building this. You can't be beating to the ROI drum. We get it. Everybody's got to make a profit here. That's why we're in business. But even if you're building a simple application, like let's say it's a 3-step form field process for an insurance application, instead of having the team march to the ROI drum, you could say, hey guys, how awesome is this that we're helping people get the coverage that they need? And focusing on how you're gonna make people feel that you're developing this application that's gonna really help a lot of different people in the world. That's gonna motivate the people working on that product much more than, we gotta go out there, make a profit. Because no one's getting out of bed for making a profit. So you have ROI. The other challenge with ROI is it's a lagging indicator. It happens way downstream. You have the business outcomes and survey results. A lot of times the survey is NPS, which there's a time and a place for NPS, but the challenge with NPS is that it's what I say I'm going to do, not what I'm actually doing. It's not what I'm actually doing out in the wild, how I'm really behaving. Am I really referring your product to somebody else? Or did I just say, yeah, I think I'll maybe pass it on to a friend or family? It's like, we want to measure the leading indicators so that we understand, based on how people are actually using this, are they building trust? Are we building trust with them? Are they loyal to it over time? And are they investing in the future of our product? So when you combined, sorry guys, I don't know what's going on here. We got a clicker malfunction here. All right, so how metrics are related. When you combine leading indicators with lagging indicators, that's when you can have real product momentum. You're thinking about how you're making your customers feel, in addition to ensuring you're striking the right balance between the business drivers, which is the ROI, the return on investment, and how you're inspiring people to invest in the future of your product, as well as how you're inspiring your employees. So when you take a look at the customer's journey, it's standard funnel. We're gonna market, we're gonna try and sell them something, we hope they buy it, and we're gonna have to service whatever they purchase. But a customer's actual journey, it's a mess, right? It's messy out there in the interwebs. There's a lot going on. Somewhere down here in the corner, I'm declining 1,000 YouTube pop-ups. I'm up here with 3 open shopping carts somewhere that I've abandoned all over the internet. And I'm building relationships at other times. Oh, that's a cool product, I might come back to it. So it's messy. It's not this linear funnel that we like to think about it. But we're humans, right? So we need a little more structure than that. So how we like to think about it is in terms of a journey framework. Bringing it back to trust, loyalty, and advocacy. We set our product KPIs based on this framework. So for the investment behavior of trust, we want to look at what information are people giving us that they didn't need to give us that indicate that they trust us. It's that initial investment behavior. Are they spending time on the site? Are they reading our materials? Are they pulling out their wallet, continuing to buy from us? They trust us initially. From a loyalty standpoint, we look for regular, reoccurring usage over time. Of course, like monthly active users is a big one, but we want to go a little deeper than that and figure out what are the behaviors that we want to measure that also indicate, based on the product or service that we have, what is that reoccurring usage? What is the right metric for that product or service? And every company is different, every product is different. You need to define what these things mean for you. So we hold 8-hour workshops with our clients at ITX, and one of the things that we do is we map out and brainstorm how we can look at the different aspects of the system and determine what we can measure that people would trust us. And it's different for every industry and every client. For advocacy, we want to measure, are people sharing this? Are they referring the product? They're not just saying they're going to refer it like MPS, they're actually referring the product to people. And these are our behavioral KPIs that we want to measure. If we look at it through the lens of ROI, your first investment with trust is the acquisition, your regular usage is retention, and your investment in the future for advocacy is referrals. That's how it ladders up and measures with ROI. Now it's very tough with the leading indicators of trust, loyalty, and advocacy and the lagging indicators of ROI. It is hard work to blend those two together. It's not easy, it's very challenging. A lot of times it's tough to measure these things, or we're not committed to dedicating the resources to really measure those behaviors. So how does a team achieve momentum? Almost all of our clients come to us with a budget, and they say, we have this budget, we need these features, and we know that you need features, but it's not features that you really want. You want features that maximize trust, loyalty, and advocacy. So you have our clients coming to us, people, asking a team of other people over at ITX to build products that inspire other people. There's a lot of people in there, so we better figure out the human side of this equation for how we're going to motivate the team, how we're going to motivate end users. And that's the biggest component we feel that we argue why the industry is broken, because you leave out the component of the team and the people building this when you just talk dollars for features. I got this budget, I need these features, and a lot of times companies will send out a request for a proposal, an RFP, and they're not going to give you the business until you can tell them how long it's going to take, how much it's going to cost, and exactly what they're going to get for it. But they're really not sitting down and thinking about, all right, what's the right team dynamic here? Who are the right people that we need to do this? And how are the features that we've requested going to do these things? Build trust, loyalty, and advocacy. So we need a strategy. The product strategy is the vision. We need a team that is motivated and aligned to bring that vision to life. But we also need tactics. We need a roadmap, and we need capabilities. If you've ever read the book, The Art of War, there's a great quote by Sun Tzu that says, strategy without tactics, it's the slowest path to victory. You'll get there, but you might want to grab a Snickers or two, settle up. It's going to be a while, all right? Your competition's likely going to outrun you. Pull up Google Maps, they've taken you the long way around, okay? So it's going to be a minute. But tactics without a strategy, that's the clanking of swords you hear right before defeat. You can't have all these great features in the feature factory and not have a really sound strategy to bring that to life. One of the other things that Sun Tzu states in The Art of War is that I don't care if you have a Nobel Prize winning vision and strategy. If you don't have a legion of motivated people behind it to bring it to life, you're not going anywhere. That's one of the trickiest parts of this momentum framework, is that the vision, of course, we need a vision, we need a roadmap, we need the schedule, we need the right people and capabilities, but no one really talks about this motivation aspect. What is going to motivate the teams? What's going to get them going in the morning? How are we going to continue to make sure that they're creative, they're coming to the table with good ideas, and they're helping us build this? We don't really talk about that, do we? And at the center of the framework is the customer experience. Everything that we're doing is for the customer, and it's to generate trust, loyalty, and advocacy. So now we're going to break down and get into each different component. What comprises a good vision is understanding who you're serving, what they care about, and why they would choose your product or service over the competition's. From a motivation perspective, you need a team that is aligned, you need a team that is confident, and you need a team that is committed. That's the biggest aspect of motivation. We need to be aligned, we need to be committed, and we need to have confidence in each other and confidence in the vision. From a roadmap perspective, we know we need the features. It goes without saying. We need a healthy backlog, we need our UX standards, we need a good architectural plan. From a capabilities perspective, we need the right people, the right knowledge, skills, tools, processes. In addition, within capabilities, we also need the right funding, right? Can't build anything unless you have the right capabilities, you have the funding behind it. And these are all of the aspects that really drive product momentum. This is how you really, you're throwing gasoline in the fire here now. You want to really pick up steam and make sure that you're able to bring this thing to life. This is the framework that we've developed to do it. So how do we know when momentum is suboptimal? The math. You need strategy and tactics. From a strategy perspective, we need vision and motivation, and we need a roadmap and capabilities to equal momentum here. Momentum requires discipline. It's not easy. From a vision standpoint, you could have everything else in play here. You could have a motivated team of champions ready to build this product. You could have a great roadmap. Everybody's capable. You have the right skills, tools, resources. But if you don't have the right vision, it's going to equal confusion. And how does confusion manifest? Down into the trenches of a product. I'm confused. I don't know why we're doing this. Who are we serving? We don't know what's going on. There's no true north driving the team. They're not aligned on the vision. I have worked on a very big product where the executive team and the team down in the trenches that was going to be using the product that we were developing, they were not aligned. They had two very different visions for this product. It not only manifested in confusion in every meeting we were in, the team in the trenches was really upset. They felt like leadership wasn't listening to them. These guys don't know what we need. They're not involved in the day-to-day. And the executive team was like, you know what? We're building it this way. And everybody was confused. All the road mapping meetings we went into, they were prioritizing different things. So it really can impact the motivation of a team, because then the people who were going to use the product, they weren't motivated by this. And also it impacted capabilities. The product ultimately didn't move forward and get funded because these two groups that were essential to moving this effort forward were not aligned on the vision. And everybody was confused. And you know what happened? We were circling the wagons like the Buffalo Bills every single meeting over this. So you've got to make sure that everybody is aligned on the vision. One of the most powerful things that you can do with your team is to create the vision with them. Get everybody's buy-in. Once they're bought in on the vision, then it becomes theirs, right? Then they're motivated to bring it to life. They're actually bringing you roadmap tactics and features. If you don't have a motivated team, you can have a great vision, good roadmap, you're capable of bringing this to life. You don't have motivation, you're going to get resistance. And if you've worked on digital products long enough, you're going to see resistance manifest in all sorts of different ways. Finger pointing, I'm resistant, you're resistant. I don't want to do this, it's not my job. That's another big one that resistant teams like to throw out, not my problem. I have a saying internally that I use all the time. We have some people here who know this. I always say to our team, one team, one dream. And it's more than a mantra to help motivate the team, one team, one dream. But really, the backstory behind one team, one dream started when I was working for a company out in New York City. They were paying to fly me out to a big other company's headquarters each week to build this big digital system. The team that I was sitting with 8 hours a day, they were super resistant. They didn't want me coming in from the outside. They'd had some bad experiences in the past. And they were very, not only resistant, but they were nasty with each other. And every meeting they had guns drawn. We couldn't get anything done. I became a hostage negotiator every meeting here. And finally, after a month and a half of them just knocking me down, I finally said, you know what, this is enough. They're not getting anything done. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna say something. So I sat the team down and I said, you know what guys, listen, I've done everything I could for you in the month and a half that I've been here, but you're extremely resistant. Every time we take one step forward, we're taking 3 steps back. I'm here to help you. We're in this together, one team, one dream. And you know what? I can promise you one thing in this industry. We're gonna move through stormy weather together. There's no doubt about it. There's gonna be problems, challenges, roadblocks, cross-team departments. We better ensure our aligned. We got enough going on. We will not be a team divided. We must stand united. So if you're in it with me, one team, one dream, let's move it forward, because we're gonna dream and struggle together. And if not, then you know what? We'll go to management, I'll move off the product, no problem. What do you think happened after this? They completely changed their tune. They apologized to me. They knew the golden rule that they teach you in kindergarten? Treat other people how you want to be treated. They knew I had taken a lot of punches and that they weren't acting appropriately. So what started happening is that we were using one team, one dream as a safe word in meetings. So when they would start spiraling on each other, someone would call out, one team, one dream, and it was almost, okay, let's listen, flag on the field, unnecessary roughness, all right, everybody just chill, maybe we'll hit the showers, reconvene after lunch, all right? So whatever it is, whether it's one team, one dream, I encourage you, feel free to take that. It's not, trademarked by any means. You need something that's going to motivate your teams. And it's okay if disagreements happen, that's fine, as long as they don't get personal. This team in particular really needed a wake-up call, and everything changed after that. We started getting real momentum. All the sources of friction that were preventing us from achieving momentum all went away to the wayside. Now we were steamrolling ahead, we were making our deadlines, everybody was creative, and we were moving forward together. One thing I'm gonna say about how you make people feel is that if you're in a meeting and based on the words that come out of your mouth, if the people in that meeting then leave the room like this, slumped over, depressed, upset, they're demotivated. Do you think people, when they're just got bombarded in a meeting and torn to shreds, that they're gonna go back and solve challenging problems, do their best work, and be creative? Of course not. So that's why it's very important not only to take a look at how we're making our customers feel, how are we making our team feel? And without a roadmap, you get waste. That's like one of the biggest ones in agile software development, always a little bit of waste, but real waste is when you're not listening to your customers, you're rolling stuff out, kicking it out the door before anybody even validates that this is what people want. So you need to be careful that in terms of waste, you're building things the right way, you're taking the team's feedback into consideration, and you're being cognizant about the little bit of incremental waste versus like you just wasted $500,000 because you weren't listening to end users, your team warned you, all the warning signs were there, Rochester. You should have seen it coming. And that's normally what happens with teams and products, is that somebody along the way is gonna raise their hand and say, hey, this is gonna be wasteful, how can we get around it? And a lot of times you have executives just pushing the team through, and then at the end of the 6 months, they're surprised, why does this code look like spaghetti? Well, we told you so. That's why it looks like spaghetti, because this was wasteful, the exercise that we just went through. And without capability, you get frustration. The number one example when I think about capability is when you have a team say, we're not capable of hitting that date. We're not capable, we're simply not capable. When you hear a team say that, sometimes there's a little negotiation needed, right? Team needs more time, let's cut some features. But other times when they really mean it, they're not capable of doing this, behind that statement is major frustration. That frustration is going to stall out momentum for your product because the team is frustrated, they told you they couldn't do this, and that also is another aspect that can lead to waste when the team's extremely frustrated. They're not able to, they don't have the right skills, tools, resources, and funding. Your momentum is going to be stalled out. And momentum requires discipline. That's a huge aspect of this. It's not easy, but you can use this as a diagnostic tool for when things are going off the rails. you can really take a look at this and say, are we confused right now? Are we not aligned on the vision? Are we resistant? Are we finger pointing at each other? Playing the old blame game? Throwing each other under the bus? Maybe. Are we being wasteful? And are we frustrated? And once you identify those sources of friction that are stopping momentum, then you can start brainstorming, what do we need to do to get back on track? But it's like anything else, right? First, you gotta admit, we've got a problem. We have a problem here. It's time to address it. We have a saying about this model is that all models are wrong, but some are useful. This is not the golden standard for developing software products by any means, okay? It's something that we find extremely useful. It has helped us think about how we're making our customers feel, how we're making our team feel, how we're motivating end users, motivating our team internally. There's an entire science behind the underlying theory of human motivation that goes into getting people to trust you, they're loyal to you, and they're gonna invest in the future of your product. So it's just another way to think about how you're gonna build products for your customers. So get after it, Rochester. Keep building awesome products, and don't forget, remember how you're making people feel, all right? One team, one dream.